Okay, Fernando, let's start.
Okay.
Three, two, one. Okay. Okay, guys, we're gonna get started here. First of all, thank y'all so much for coming this evening. I know it's the holidays and we're super busy. This evening we are going to talk about something very important for this time of year, and that is us setting our goals for next year. And we're going to do it the smart way. And the smart way is having goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. It's not enough for us just to say, yeah, I want to sell a bunch more houses next year. You've got to think about exactly what you've got to do to sell X amount of homes next year. And when you're writing down your goals, and if you will write them down, it does make a big difference. If you can actually see what your goals are for the year. But let's talk about those particular goals. Having a specific goal, it's the who, what, where, and when. It's not just, I want to increase my sales. You're going to have to think about, first of all, who's going to be the majority of your sales? Do you work more with sellers or do you work more with buyers? And who's going to lead that initiative? What do you have to do to convert your clients into actual sales? Measuring. You've got to come up with a goal or figure out how many houses that you're going to need to close to increase your sales this year. And of course, how many leads is it going to take to generate those sales? And the 90-day challenge has been extremely successful for many of my agents. So that is something that I'm going to encourage all of y'all to do. Something else, when you're thinking about your goals, make sure that they're achievable. Don't say, I'm going to sell 50 houses next year when you're a part-time agent. It doesn't make sense. You got to keep your sanity, as well as, making sure that you still can provide good customer service to your clients. Again, you need to, make sure your goals are realistic. Do you have the finances and do you have the resources? If you're a part-time agent just getting off the ground, chances are that $1 million in sales isn't really realistic. Okay. Finally, if you're going to make each goal, it needs to be time bound. So let's say you're going to sell 10 houses next year, and here it comes June, and you've only sold one. It's like, well, we really need to, step up our game, and we need to do some more lead generation so that we can achieve our goal. Some good goals for y'all to think about is, first of all, your business goals. What is it going to take me to get 50 qualified leads? Again, the 90-day challenge is an awesome place to start. We've been having some awesome results. Last weekend, I wrote 5 offers with my agents. Another goal would be to increase your online presence. Do post 2 social media posts a week at minimum. Another business goal would be, because you're doing so well, that you hire an assistant to help you. with all the lead generation and getting, providing excellent customer service to your some personal goals. You need to finish your continuing education and networking. Networking is a great way to meet people. The holidays are upon us. Now is the time to make sure at that Christmas party that you go to, have your business cards. Now, you also need to have family goals. A great family goal would be that you're doing so well by the end of the year that you actually take a vacation with your family. When I say a vacation, that's away from the office and you're spending time with your family. You're actually not working. So, in conclusion, we're going to have SMART goals. They're going to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and relevant, and timed. So the big question is, what goals how do we want to achieve these goals? Well, if we want to make $100,000 next year, what do we have to do that? If your average sales price is $200,000, and actually 200,000 is low. I think the average sale price in Houston's closer to like 280. But anyway, let's just say 200,000. So if you've got a $6,000 commission, you divide that by 100,000, and you're going to need to sell 16 homes this year. That's not a lot, especially if you'll break it into quarters. That's only 4 houses a quarter. That's just, a little bit over 1 a month. That is a realistic, achievable goal. And this should be your main goal for the year. So with that being said, I'm going to attempt to unmute everybody. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, everybody else?
Hello.
Hi. Anybody have any questions about goals? Or do you have any, do you have any suggestions for goals? Fernando?
Well, I was thinking, I'm kind of curious, how do people like create these goals? Do you use like a Microsoft Word? Do you put it in an Excel spreadsheet? Do you put it in a notepad? Do you put it on a whiteboard? What would be some ideas to, write this goals down so we can see them, visually? In my experience, I use an Excel spreadsheet to keep track of my goals. I put, how much money I want to make. And in there, I put all the activities that's going to make me reach that, for example, $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
But do you have any ideas of how to keep track of it? In other words, where to write it down?
There are excellent goal worksheets. If you'll just Google them, I saw many, and they're directed exactly towards realtors that will show you. It's like, okay, well, every month I've got to make 50 phone calls. I've got to make 20 posts per week, on Facebook or Craigslist or Green Sheet or whatever that may be. And I saw some good ones. I'd be happy to share with y'all.
And another thing you mentioned earlier was sometimes you're like, wow, I was supposed to sell 4 houses this quarter. Now I'm getting depressed because I didn't do it. What advice do you give to like get the ball rolling again and not be so discouraged?
Well, I keep my goals on my desk to remind myself. It's like, you know what, I'm slacking here. I need to, I only sold 2 and I should have already sold 6. What am I going to do to change that?
And if, let's just say that you were mentioning that the average might be 280,000, that tells me that maybe you don't have to sell 16 homes, you can sell less,
Yes, yes.
right? So you reach that same year.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And halfway through the year, you can look and see what your dollar figure is. And, you can adjust it accordingly. Whether, oh gosh, I only need to sell 2 more houses the rest of the year, great. Or, oh wow, I need to sell 10 more houses this year.
Right. Okay.
Does anybody have any other goals that they'd like to reach this year? How
I don't know if
about
that's a
how
phone
about
down.
anybody have some personal goals like having better health or being able to spend more time with the family or maybe not spending so much time with the family?
I want to go on a cruise in October.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
That's one of my
Well,
goals.
Hello?
hello.
Yeah. Can you go back a slide with the smart? I think it's one slide back.
Yeah, absolutely. Right there.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
This looks like a real good way to write down goals inside these boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is there a way to zoom in, like use the plus sign just so people can kind of,
Sure.
yeah, just maybe like that. They can kind of see what it says on the inside because it looks kind of small. Yeah, that way they can.
There we go.
There we
So
go, yeah.
specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timed.
Yeah, and I guess what we need to read is what's in the parentheses. So we have an
Oh,
idea.
I see. Yeah, I see. Specific. What do you want to? What do you want to achieve? Is it 100,000? Is it 10,000? Is it 200,000?
Mm-hmm.
And then the
Measurable.
measurable.
How are you going to get there? What number do you have to come up with to reach your goal? And that's taking your goal and dividing it by the number of commissions on an average. And some people will sell mostly $400,000 houses. Some people will only sell $100,000 houses. So you have a pretty good idea of your market, of the people that you target. And if you're only selling to $100,000 buyers, then what do you need to do to increase your sales price? Maybe you're targeting a lower end client when you might want to maybe take some class. There's some great classes at HAR about marketing to luxury market buyers.
Is a luxury like the $1 million houses?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Yes. Yes.
And the achievable, what does that say?
Well, is it achievable? Is if you're working a full-time job, you should not expect. I mean, you've got to keep your sanity and be realistic, or that these are achievable goals. Don't beat yourself up. If you think that you're going to make $300,000 next year, but you're working a full-time job, that's not achievable nor realistic.
Right.
Yeah, we'd all love to make 300,000, but we also, many of us have full-time jobs.
Right.
You
And then
know,
the last one.
Go
Can you
ahead.
go to the last one? I think it says timed.
Timed, and break it into quarters. You don't have to look at the big, the whole year. See how you did the first 3 months of the year. Did I sell 1 house? Did I sell 7 houses?
Right. So and in order to feed this system, the smart system, the lead generation that we had have on another webinar and we did in the presentation, the 90-day challenge, as you mentioned, this will feed into this system that we have here called the smart system.
Absolutely.
So that lead generation, and that lead generation needs to continue to be a continuum. It shouldn't stop.
Yeah, no, you're not done with it in 90 days. You need to continue it.
Right.
Definitely. And you will see the results. All of the mentors are just blown away at how great our agents are doing. The ones that are being consistent with the 90-day challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote 5 offers this weekend with my agents.
Nice.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And they were all from leads from, Green Sheet, Facebook, Craigslist.
Yeah, it's a continuous process.
It is, and it's working.
It's like a hungry animal that you have to constantly be feeding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you're not consistent, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Anybody have any other questions? I don't know if they can, because they're muted, so I'm not sure if they're able to.
No, they're only a couple are muted. Let's unmute.
Yeah, I see some of them.
I'm good, thank you. This is Michelle.
I'm sorry, who is this?
This is Michelle Renee. I was saying I don't have any questions. I agree totally with all of that.
Great, thank you, ma'am.
Awesome. And if any of y'all need help with this, please don't hesitate to ask us. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We want y'all to succeed and sell houses and achieve our goals for next year.
Right. And 2020 is what? How many weeks we have left? 3 weeks? 2.5? So
Yes.
very close.
Yes, it's around the corner.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Well, thank y'all so much. If you have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will let y'all go for the evening. And thank you so much for attending. I really appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
How do I